All right, let's get straight into it. Today, we're going to break down the chemical properties of organic compounds. We're focusing on the big four you absolutely have to know for your CAPS exams: alkanes, alkenes, alcohols, and carboxylic acids. My goal is to make their key reactions super clear so you can absolutely nail those exam questions. Ready? Let's go. So, have you ever stopped to think about why the butane in a lighter is so different from, say, the sweet smell of a pineapple? I mean, they're both organic compounds, right? But they behave in completely different ways. The secret? Well, it's all in their structure. And by the end of this session, you'll be able to see that structure and know exactly how it's going to react. Okay, if there's one thing you remember from today, let it be this. Every single reaction we're about to talk about, the whole world of organic chemistry really, it's all controlled by one simple idea: the functional group. Get this, and everything else just clicks into place. So what exactly is a functional group? Well, think of it as the active part of the molecule. It's the hotspot, the place where all the action happens. If you can learn to spot the functional group, you can predict the reaction. It really is that simple. Let's kick things off with the most basic homologous series, the alkanes. I want you to think of these guys as the calm, stable foundation of organic chemistry. They're not very reactive, and understanding why is the perfect place to start. On the left, we've got our alkanes. We call them saturated, and that's just a fancy way of saying they're full up. Every carbon atom has as many single bonds as it can possibly have. Now, look to the right, at an alkene. Alkenes are unsaturated because they have at least one carbon-carbon double bond. And that double bond? That's the secret to everything. And because of that big structural difference, they react in totally different ways. Alkanes, being all stable with their single bonds, they undergo substitution. Basically, you have to force an atom to swap out. But alkenes, with that reactive double bond, they love to do addition reactions, where the bond just breaks open to let new atoms join in. This difference is absolutely crucial for your exam. So for alkanes, you really only need to know two main reactions. First, combustion. Simple. They're great fuels, they burn in oxygen, and you get carbon dioxide and water. The second one is substitution with halogens, like chlorine. And here's the key thing to remember, the condition you have to write down, is that this only happens with UV light. All right, now for the more exciting members of the family, the alkenes. Their chemistry is way more dynamic, and it's all thanks to that one special feature we just talked about. That carbon-carbon double bond is everything. Unlike a sturdy single bond, this double bond has a lot of exposed electrons. This makes it a prime target, a weak point that's just waiting to be attacked by other molecules. It can break open really easily to form new bonds. And that's what leads to all these addition reactions. The double bond snaps open, and you can add hydrogen, that's hydrogenation, or you can add a halogen like bromine, that's halogenation. You can even have water, which we call hydration. The key thing is, nothing gets kicked out. The new atoms are just added right in. So how do we actually prove this in a lab? How can we tell an alkane from an alkene? It's easy. You use the bromine test. Bromine water has this distinct brown color. If you add it to an alkene, that double bond reacts immediately, and the brown color vanishes. It becomes colorless. But if you add it to an alkane, nothing. It just stays brown. This is a dead giveaway, and trust me, it comes up in exams all the time. Okay, listen up, because this is a classic exam trap. People always mix this up. So let's say it one more time to lock it in. Alkenes decolorize bromine water. Alkanes do not. Please don't fall into that trap. Okay, we've got hydrocarbons down. Now what happens when we throw oxygen into the mix? Well, we get two brand new, super important homologous series, alcohols and carboxylic acids. And adding oxygen completely changes the game. Let's look at them side by side. On one hand, you have alcohols with their OH hydroxyl group. Their big reactions are oxidation and dehydration. On the other hand, you've got carboxylic acids with their -COOH carboxyl group. And as you can probably guess from the name, they act like acids, but they also do a really cool reaction called esterification. Remember those fruity smells we talked about at the beginning? This is where they come from. When you react an alcohol with a carboxylic acid, you make an ester plus some water. Now, to get all the marks in your exam, you must remember the conditions. You need some gentle heat and a strong acid catalyst, like concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay, that's the theory done. Now, let's pull all of this together into a powerful playbook you can use to crush your exam questions. This is where it all connects.
Right, get your phone out, screenshot this slide. Seriously, this is your ultimate revision guide. It sums it all up. For alkanes, think substitution. For alkenes, think addition. Alcohols, oxidation and dehydration. And for carboxylic acids, it's those acid reactions. And of course, esterification. This is your cheat sheet.
All right, let's put this playbook to the test. Typical question. Why are alkenes more reactive than alkenes? The answer? Because they're unsaturated and have a reactive C double bond C. Simple. Next, how do you tell them apart? You use the bromine water test. Only the alkene will decolorize it, see? And finally, what reaction turns ethanol into ethene? That's a removal of water, so it's dehydration. The principles we covered lead you straight to the answer every time. Before you go, here are my top 3 final tips. Number 1, the very first thing you should do is identify the functional group. It tells you the whole story. 2, you have to learn the names and the specific conditions for each reaction. And 3, practice, practice, practice writing balanced equations. So we've seen how a molecule's structure decides what it does. The real test of your understanding isn't just memorizing a list of reactions. It's about being able to predict them. Now that you know the rules of the game, what do you think would happen if you mixed propanol with ethanoic acid? Or bubbled ethene through chlorine water? That is where the real chemistry begins.